to be reborn in spring, to hear and to feel the pulse of life enters my soul as a song to sing of the oneness of everything.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here with us. We do these things live so that we can be with you while we're doing them. You found your way again to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church in Shreveport. And somewhere between either last weekend and this weekend, this is our anniversary of doing these online services. And we thank you for hanging with us. We really do want to know how you're doing. So if you can communicate that with us somehow, whether it's in the chat on Facebook or sending us an email or just trying to stay in touch, participating in one of the groups that we'll be talking about in a second. All of that's great. We've been far apart for a long time, and we need to renew our connections. This church is built on covenant, not creed. We're here in agreement, mutual agreement on being respectful with one another and how we want to live in the world rather than what we believe. We don't have to think alike to love alike. So whoever you are, whatever your age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity, if you care to be here with us in a mutual, respectful community, mutually respectful, you're always welcome. I think we will move straight on. We do a little bit of front loading with the service and try to share information as, and so what I will do is invite one of our board members to share.
Good morning, everyone. It's a wonderful weekend. First announcement is we are give away the plate for the month of March is the Holy Cross Hope House. It's a day shelter in Shreveport for the homeless. This month, we're asking you to give your money to All Souls, and we will make sure that it makes its way to the Hope House. There's two ways of donating. You can go to the our donation site. If you're paying your pledge, select your pledge and then enter that amount and then select the collection plate to give the amount that you would like to give to the Hope House. All our collection plate contributions this month will go to the Hope House. Second way is you can mail in a check to All Souls. If you're mailing in your pledge, you can indicate on the memo line what portion of your the money you're giving is for your pledge and what portion goes to the Hope House. Second announcement, I would like to make a plug for the adult religious education, which meets every Sunday at 9 o'clock via Zoom. This week and next week, they'll be discussing the 8th principle, which is something we recently adopted. But coming up on March the 28th, we're going to start a new book. It's called White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. And we're gonna, if you need to order a book, you can message Susan and she'll order some books, or you can get your own book. But having recently just completed the YWCA Dialogue on Race course, I'm very excited about this new book and the discussions that we'll have for it. So I encourage you to join us. It's a pretty lively group and we have a lot of fun on Sundays. The last announcement is the Highland Blessing Dinner. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 6 p.m. The regular Tuesday, Thursday schedules just been resumed. Both days have been very busy. We have people showing up that haven't shown up before. And a lot of people are hungry in our area right now. So this is a wonderful time to be able to help out with the Highland Blessing Dinner. There's outdoor drive up and walk up. And so we need people to actually put the meals into the bags and then hand them out to both the drive up folks and the people coming for the walk up. Gloves will be provided, but you do have to provide your own mask. So bring your own mask. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Ken. I really appreciate that plug for the adult religious education, and I do want to encourage you to join us, especially if you haven't before. It is a good group, and we have some wonderful discussions in there, and I just appreciate your contribution, Ken, and everybody that comes. I also want to thank Barbara for the entry music, which was part of that beautiful song, Hearts in the World. I saw that Pam Carlisle had put in the Facebook comments that it's one of her favorites, and it's one of my favorites too. And so I'm always really happy to hear that song. Um, Wanted to remind you that Family Religious Education is today, 1 o'clock p.m., and we're going to be revisiting our adoption of the eighth principle and how we go forward at all ages to live into that principle. As we said when we adopted it, it wasn't a one and done. It wasn't something we did that. Let's pat ourselves on the back. Now that was the beginning. Now we get to figure out how we live it, how we work on accountably dismantling racism, and that is something that we work on at every age. So we look forward to that. I would also love to meet with high school this week, tentatively Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. And I'll be putting that in the text chain and on the Slack channel to see if that might work for everybody this week. I would love to see your faces and talk some about ongoing eighth principle work, and also Affirmation Sunday and what that might look like this year. That's coming up at the end of May, and we've got 2 graduates, so we need to think about that. So that I believe that might be everything that I have today. And again, thanks so much.
So I appreciate the acknowledgement of the musical transition pieces this morning. Uh, the first one that I played before Ken is Keeper of the Dream. And I think that's what we try to be, keepers of the dream. And Susan's was Hearts in the World or Waiting. And it's about where we're all connected, and that somewhere in us we remember that. And we're all trying to get home to it, I think. And the one that was before me is called My Inner Garden, and it's about tending to our spirits. And I feel like the topic today will probably touch on all of those things. And I am very honored to have Catherine Carter Davis with us today, but I will give you a little bit more information about her in a little while. I also wanted, as part of the announcements, to thank all the people that came yesterday for the Building and Grounds Work Day. We are being responsible with our distance and trying to begin preparing this space for our reentry. We don't know exactly when that will be, but the building has missed us, and I want to thank you for your help. Well, now we begin to approach the spirit of worship. And we think about that in the Old English context of the word, meaning to elevate and contemplate matters of worth. So let yourself ease into this time. You're here for you. Let things fall away that might distract you in ways that would be destructive. Okay? Here we have come so that we might stop, so that we might dedicate these few moments to catching our breath, to remembering our essential wholeness, even in a world that can feel quite broken. We come to remember joy and gratitude. We come together to seek what is good and true and wise and lovely and holy, and to know what is required of us by them. Despite distance and fear, we are connected. Despite loneliness and change, we are connected. Across different experiences and lives, we are connected. Even when we dance alone in a room, we're connected in the heat of the sun, in the glow of the stars, across the limits of our imaginations. We are connected. We, bearers of the dream, affirm that a new vision of hope is emerging. We affirm a unity that opens our eyes, ears, and hearts to see the different but common forms of oppression, suffering, and pain. Yet we are one in the image of God, and we celebrate our hopes for human unity. I believe this morning we will be having our children's chalice lighting offered by Ava Kate Peck.
Hi, my name is Ava, and I'm going to be saying the chalice lighting today. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the Church of the Open Mind. This is the Church of the Helping Hands. This is the Church of the Loving Heart.
Thank you so much, Ava Kate, for all of the work that you do to bring those things into actually being. The flame of our chalice bears witness to the life of the Spirit that dwells in us and among us. By its light, we seek to raise up those things that are precious and beautiful, holy and just for our reverence. We join our voices in a holy communion of mind and heart dedicated to the promises that bind us in compassion, one with another. In this hour, we light the flame that signals our intention to find the sacred in every living thing. Out of the darkness, light. Out of the light, warmth. Out of the warmth, joy. Out of the joy, togetherness. May this flame hold us for this time that we share. Hold us in gratitude with awareness of our deep and so very real connectedness. Ms. Susan, who's leading our unison affirmation this morning?
That would be Mr. Ken Peterson.
Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other.
Thank you, Ken. I want to invite you to sing with me now. Both of these songs are things that we've done before. The words will be on the screen. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the truth, we are one in the Spirit, we are one in the truth, and we pray that our unity may one day be renewed, and we'll know we are growing by our love, yes, we'll know we are growing by our love.
Good morning again. The theme today is about how we are all connected. And so I found this story that amazingly I had not heard before. And so I want to share it with you because I think it's kind of wonderful for this. This is called The Invisible String by Patrice Karst. Liza and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night. Suddenly it began to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke them up. "Mommy, Mommy," they cried out as they ran to her. "Don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all that noise. Go back to bed." "We want to stay close to you," said Jeremy. "We're scared." Mom said, "You know we're always together, no matter what." "But how can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed?" said Liza. Mom held something right in front of them and said, "This is how." And rubbing their eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mom was holding. "I was about your age when my mommy first told me about the invisible string." "I don't see a string," said Jeremy. "You don't need to see the invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love." "But if you can't see it, how do you know it's there?" asked Liza. "Even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart and know that you are always connected to everyone you love." "When you're at school and you miss me, my love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart. And when you tug it right back, we feel it in our hearts," said Jeremy. "Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string?" Liza asked. "He sure does," said Mom. "And best friends like me and Lucy?" asked Liza. "Best friends too." "How far can the string reach?" "Anywhere and everywhere," Mom said. "Would it reach me even if I were a submarine captain deep in the ocean?" asked Jeremy. "Yes," said Mom, "even there." "Or a mountain climber?" asked Liza. "Even there." "A dancer in France?" asked Jeremy. "Even there." "A jungle explorer?" "Even there." "How about an astronaut out in space?" "Yes, even there." Then Jeremy quietly asked, Can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven? Yes, even there. Does the string go away when you're mad at us? Never, said Mom. Love is stronger than anger, and as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. Even when you make a big mess like that. That's the string is a good thing. Even when you get older and you can't agree about things like what movie to see, or what game to play in the back seat, or what time to go to bed. Oh, that's right. You two should be in bed. And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. And within a few minutes, they were asleep, even though the storm was still making those same loud noises outside. As they slept, they started dreaming of all the invisible strings they have, and all the strings their friends have, and their friends have, and their friends have, and their friends have, until everyone in the world was connected by invisible strings. And from deep inside, they now could clearly see no one is ever alone. So all of those invisible strings make what? What as Unitarian Universalists do we talk about all the time? All of those invisible strings make an interdependent web of all life. So don't forget that. You're connected. Thanks.
My life goes on in endless song above Earth's lamentation. I hear the real, the far off hymn that hails a new creation. No storm can shake my inmost calm while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from while all the tempest round me roars, I know the truth it liveth, and though the darkness round me holds songs in my mind it giveth, no storm can shake my inmost calm while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? I lift my eyes, the cloud grows thin. I see the blue above it, and day by day this pathway smooths. Since first I learned to love it, no storm can shake my inmost calm. I hear the music ringing
I wanted to include that piece this morning because it felt so good. Sometimes it's hard to find things that feel that way, but since love prevails in heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? As we come to the message part of this morning, I want to invite you to close your eyes just for a few seconds. Take a couple of good, deep breaths, and then let your breathing settle into a soft and easy rhythm. Remember, this time is for you and caring for yourself, tending to your soul. This time is for remembering the beautiful spirit that you are and being kind to that spirit, your precious being. Let yourself be held in the embrace of this current moment. Trust it. Relax into it, into this space that we hold together, this time, and this company of seekers. I'm truly grateful for you, the people you are, the difference you make in the world, each in your own way, and the heart you have for trying even when things don't work perfectly. You are people among whose number I am quite proud to be. Now, indivisible. What does that word bring to mind for you? Prime numbers? The Pledge of Allegiance? The quote from Dr. King about freedom? This past week, in one of the daily meditations that I read, this one came from Galen Gingrich, who is the senior minister at All Souls Unitarian Church on the Upper East Side of Manhattan in New York. I read this quote: "Whether the universe is composed of an infinite number of blind atoms or one all-seeing nature, two things are clear. First, I am a part of the universe governed by nature. And second, I am related in some way to the other parts like myself. Because I am related to the other parts like myself, I will not seek my own advantage at their expense, but I will study to know what is in our common good and bend every effort to advance that good and dissuade others from acting against it. If I'm successful in this, my life is bound to flow smoothly, as one would expect for the dutiful citizen who is always looking out for others." I did not know until I reached the end of the quote that it was from Marcus Aurelius. That sounded a little strange to me. What caught my attention was the use of the word atom, A-T-O-M, in a text that came from the 2nd century, 18 centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius lived from 121 current era to 180 current era. In my mind, hearing Marcus Aurelius use the word atom was kind of like, or about as credible as Abraham Lincoln saying that he found something on the internet. Surely, no one had created a microscope capable of detecting atoms 18 centuries ago. So I looked into it a bit, and what I discovered was quite surprising to me. The concept actually came from 600 years before that. In 440 BCE, Leucippus had come up with the idea, and the word was from Greek, a meaning not, and tome meaning cuttable or dividable. Couldn't be divided, indivisible. The idea was that if things were taken down to small enough, you would reach some element or some point at which they could not be broken down any farther. And while that's true in an atom, if you break it down farther than that, it's not whatever it was before. Its aspects, not that thing. We have found ways to break atoms, but the idea was this basic, rudimentary, foundational, fundamental thing or fundamentalness that cannot be divided. What is it that always remains unified? That's when I arrived at our speaker for this morning's doorstep. Catherine Carter Davis and I have known each other for as long as we can remember. We have many, many mutual friends, including a number of All Souls members. Our lives have particularly overlapped at some poignant times in the lives of this church, and today's not an exception for that. But also, we had transcendental meditation in common, or what we call TM. I had been initiated in California, but when I came back to Shreveport, Catherine was here teaching transcendental meditation. And for a good many years, she was the only instructor in North Louisiana. Catherine would host in her home small gatherings of meditators, and we would watch videos from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who taught the Beatles and Catherine. And Maharishi was always talking about the unified field. The unified field. When I think of indivisible, that's what comes to mind for me. For 50 years, this coming October, the TM community has been researching the unified field from perspectives of both modern science and of consciousness, which is, of course, the subjective experience of that field. Catherine has been a meditator herself for that same 50 years, and she has learned a great deal about the unified field. She moved away from Shreveport some years back, and for the last 7 years, she's been living in Fairfield, Iowa, which is the home of Maharishi International University. There, her husband, who is head of the, Integrative Wellness Center. They live in Fairfield. He teaches at Maharishi International University and has like 600 students from around the world who are studying Ayurvedic medicine. I invited her to share with us about the unified field, and she generously accepted my invitation, and on rather short notice because it was this week that it came to me. So I would ask you to open your hearts and welcome in Catherine Carter Davis.
Hello, am I speaking now? Thank you, Barbara, for that perfectly accurate and beautiful introduction. I really appreciate it very much. And God gosh, it's been a very profound morning in many ways for me. And I had told Barbara when we spoke just yesterday, setting this up, that the main thing I interacted with the church recently is doing funerals or participating in funerals. And some of my dearest friends who have passed have brought me back to my love connections to Unitarian Church. And during the time Barbara and I talked, and right now, one of those dear souls did leave and enter the unified field of all the laws of nature overnight. So it's particularly poignant for me to be connected to all of you right now and to share this. But on a lighter note, a few days ago, I happened to notice when I was, scrolling through Facebook listings and all that the CERN Particle Research Center had found 4 new particles. So how in the world is that relevant to our lives? And when we speak about the unified field, how is modern science and ancient science coming together to, in a way, shake hands from the ancient to the most modern? So my teachers have been Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, as Barbara mentioned, and then also Dr. John Hagelin, who's a world-renowned particle physicist, who also happens to be the president of this university where I live, Maharishi International University. And he was also my physics teacher when I went to school here. And when I was studying quickly to see what I was going to share with you today, I also noticed another coincidence, a 50-year coincidence, that the CERN Particle Research Facility is also 50 years old. So the particle research and Maharishi International University and my meditating time are all 50 years. So this must be some kind of a 50th reunion that's happening spontaneously. And that's the thing about the unified field. There's nothing there, but it organizes everything in nature in perfect timing. And I'll speak just a few words about what does modern science say about the unified field. It's an unmanifest field. It's the source of all manifestation in the physical world. It's a single universal source of all orderliness in nature. It's the home of all the laws of nature. So even though there's no thing there, it is the ground state of our own being and of the being of everything in manifest creation. And some of you probably remember that song that the Beatles had, Across the Universe, and the chorus is, "Nothing's going to change my world." And they had just been with Maharishi for quite a while and probably wrote the song, when they were there. I think John wrote it actually. But that no thing is going to change my world, that's the unified field. That's that field of unbounded, pure consciousness that is the source of everything that emerges in life. It gives rise to the fundamental force and matter fields. So, leptons and Higgs bosons and all those things that they study over at CERN. But it also, on a more manifest level, it generates DNA. And then that's the material expression of the unified field in the human physiology. And the DNA is the part that creates and governs the flow of biological intelligence in all the various levels of physiological organization. So we have the unified field, force and matter fields, those subtle realms that are studied by the Hadron Accelerator at CERN. Then we have, on a more manifest level, DNA, RNA, proteins, cells. You see, we're getting more manifest, we're getting more complex. then tissues, organs, systems in the body, individual physiology, and then that physiology, that individual, which we all are, is the unit of world consciousness, of the group physiology. And so that idea of the invisible thread in that child's story was so perfect on a child's level to understand that we all are connected. And when we allow ourselves to identify with that deeper level of awareness, then it's effortless to, sort of function under the golden rule, do unto others. When you know and you have that experience of we are all one, then why would you do anything other than uplift other people? Because essentially you're all connected. That's who we all are. So that's kind of the physics side of the story that has been verified in our lifetimes as leading to this subtlest value. So all these manifest levels come from the unified field, and there's nothing there. There's nothing there. But it's the source of all manifest creation. Now, on a subjective level, and from my experience, my way of experiencing the unified field subjectively in a self-referral way is through transcendental meditation. But the thing is, this is the source of everyone. So whatever manner, any sense you can contact being through any of the five senses. But the quality of sound, Maharishi has told me and others that quality of sound is the most effortless way, the easiest way to transcend the physical levels of manifest creation, and then just experience that unbounded feel of consciousness, pure being, at the basis of all manifestation. So what TM does is it allows the conscious mind to identify with the unified field in what we call transcendental consciousness, which is a state of no thought and no activity, just being, still pure being within oneself. And he's called it absolute pure being or pure consciousness. But it's basically a state of silent stillness that the technique of transcendental meditation is a tool to experience that on a systematic, repeatable basis. So once we experience this settled state of the mind where we are all connected, we then go out into activity in the world with this deeply rooted connection to, it's like he describes it as an unbounded ocean of consciousness. And it's like connecting to the big bank account of energy and organizing power, orderliness, and basically the benefits of all the laws of nature. So that's the sort of way to dive into it subjectively, but human beings throughout time have accessed this through many, many ways, and some people just spontaneously do. But for me, this was my path. This was my way of reaching it. Now, Barbara did mention that you were in a series of studying world religions, and this knowledge comes from the Vedas, which they predate even Hinduism, but they're strongly, I'd say, expressed or included in Hinduism. But Hinduism is supposedly around 4,000 or so years old, and the Vedas, Veda just means knowledge. The Vedas were an oral tradition for centuries and centuries, and were written down about 5,000 years ago. So you see that this knowledge it's a universal knowledge, which certainly fits with the idea of the Unitarian Church being embracing all basically all humans and their way of describing God or the universe in an inclusive way rather than a my God's better than your God kind of way. And I think that's one thing that really appeals to me, not only about your church, but also about this unified field knowledge, is that it's inclusive. It is so inclusive. No morsel, no particle, no proton or electron is left out. So this experience of pure consciousness or the unified field in ourselves is our own true self that's connected to all. So it's basically everything that is and the source of all manifest creation. So it covers everything. And the reason that it's not, even though it is our own true self, the reason that many people aren't aware of it or don't act in that sort of all-inclusive way is is described in Sanskrit. And this is the word, I'll say it in Sanskrit because it's kind of fun sounding. Pragya aparad. Pragya aparad means the mistake of the intellect. And what that means is our intellect, which is a wonderful tool, it looks out into the world and it sees difference. It sees, me, I'm in Iowa and you're down in Shreveport and everything. It sees separation. When we bring our awareness inward and experience that deeper level of ourself, we realize that we are all connected and that that's just a mistake to think of them and us, to think of separation, that yes, there is diversity in the manifest creation, absolutely, but we are all connected. We do all, in truth, experience that invisible string from the child's story, and that connects us all to the unified field, which is the source of everything. This mistake of the intellect, pragya, is the source of all suffering. It's also the source of all disease, because when our physiology gets disconnected from its deepest organizing power, that's where disease arises. And the body loses its connection to nature's intelligence, which knows how to, it's phenomenal what goes on just in our bodies while we walk around. Food gets digested and our heart's beating and we're producing new cells and new organs all the time. This is nature's intelligence. And so when we disconnect more and more from that intelligence, our body gets confused and the messaging gets garbled. And this is the source of disease. And so Ayurvedic medicine, which is part of the Vedic knowledge, is a way to reconnect to that nature's intelligence within the physiology, to enliven that, to bring around more perfect functioning and perfect health. So, to talk about the infinite in 10 or 15 minutes, I had to kind of compact it down, and I hope I didn't confuse you. But I did want to end with one of my favorite quotes from Maharishi that sort of is poetic and beautiful and says it all. But I also wanted to thank Barbara for giving me this opportunity, and also to tell you that How Can I Keep From Singing is one of my absolute favorite songs. I love Enya's version of it, and I sing it myself. So thank you for that. So here's the Maharishi quote. And actually he says he, but I'm going to say one. I'm going to be more inclusive on it. So one whose happiness is within, whose contentment is within, whose light is within, attains freedom in divine consciousness, like a lamp that does not flicker in a windless place. So.
Thank you so much, Catherine. I very much appreciate you stepping in to share that with us. Indivisible. So if we get down to the ground of all that is, there's something that isn't separate. It can't be separated, and it's in our experiences of separateness that we begin to distance ourselves from that, I think, probably. I want to invite you to sing along with our closing song. I want to thank Miss Susan for recording her piano part of it, and the lyrics will be on the screen. After the closing reading that will follow the song, we'll be listening to Peter Mayer's All the World is One, and it'll send us out on some nice, energetic, positive stuff too. Take care of yourselves. Please keep being careful. And know that we are one. We try to practice that here, and for good reason. I am reminded I've changed some of the readings for the closing. I was reminded by the topic of that quote from Jalaluddin Rumi, out beyond our ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. From John O'Donohue, each day is a journey. We come out of the night into the day. All creativity awakens at this primal threshold where light and darkness test and bless each other. You only discover balance in your life when you learn to trust the flow of this ancient rhythm. From Amy Zucker Morgenstern, as we leave this hallowed place, may we know that we are kin with every soul, every star, every stone and leaf of grass. Thank you for sharing your presence with us. Please, as I said, continue to act wisely and cautiously. We want to get back together soon. Peace be with you. Namaste. Ashe. Blessed be. So be it.
You can say that you stand apart, put a fence around your yard. You can build a tall rampart, guard it with a gun. You can dig yourself a moat, burn the bridge and burn the boat. It won't matter that much, you know, 'cause all the world is one. All the world is one. You can march in a big parade every Independence Day. You can raise up your own flag, sing your own anthem. It'll ring out in the air with the other anthems there. To the winds of the earth declare, all the world is one. All the world is one. Go and ask the Buddha when he's sitting under the tree. Go ask Walt Whitman when he's looking out at the sea. Ask Alan Shepard when he's standing up on the moon, staring at that pearl of blue. Ask an atom in the breath you take. Ask the water by the riverbank. Ask a strand of DNA. It's written in your blood. One life running in your veins. One life from one big bang. You can try and separate it, but all the world is one. All the world is one. Go and ask the Buddha when he's sitting under the tree. Ask Annie Dillard when she's up on Tinker Creek. Ask Alan Shepard when he's standing up on the moon, staring at that pearl of blue. You can take an outbound train, try to make a getaway. You can ride off like John Wayne to the setting sun. But earthlings don't leave town, they just go